Yep.
Okay, thanks.
You. We have enough people to get this thing going.
You carry on. Okay, good.
Well, actually, if he's not here, that means we don't have to do a roll call.
We do for now.
You are live.
You guys all ready?
Well, I'm just gonna do this.
Says 4:59. So.
Yeah, you don't have to start yet.
I never got home to get my computer, so.
I apparently didn't have mine plugged in all day.
And real quick, if Ryan Henley, if you can hear me in the attendees, I am hitting the promote to panelist button.
We're trying to promote you.
All right.
So wrap this.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Seth Engelborg, Chair of the Nantucket Conservation Commission. We are meeting today, Thursday, May 21st, 2026 at 5 p.m. in a hybrid fashion with some people physically present in the world's greatest building, the Nantucket Trailer, Room A, 131 Pleasant Street, and others on
Ugliest
Zoom.
building on Nantucket.
The first item on our agenda is to do the call to order to establish a quorum of members. Members, when you hear your name, please respond in the affirmative. John Schaefer,
Here,
RJ Turcott, here. Mike Israeli, here. Joe Pandowski,
here.
Linda Williams,
Aye.
Seth Engelberg's here. We will go through the continuances on tonight's agenda, of which we have the following. Under public hearing, notice of intent, section B, waiver required. Robert F. Greenhill Revocable Trust, 16 Horse Hollow Road, SC 48 3917, continued till June 4th. Town of Nantucket, Pulpus Harbor and Hither Creek dredging plan, SC 48 3973, continued till June 4th. That is it for tonight. With those continuances, is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Linda. Is there a second?
Sorry.
Yeah, Mike for the second. We do need to do a roll call vote. John Schaefer,
Aye.
RJ,
Aye.
Mike Miserelli,
Aye.
Joe Plendowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams,
Aye.
Seth Engelberg, aye. That carries unanimously. Tonight's announcements, the Nantucket Conservation Commission meeting is being audio and video recorded. Please do not use your own devices to audio or video record without our consent. Also, do not use your cell phones in the meeting room to make calls or texts. If you do use your phone within this room, it will be considered part of the open meeting record. And you don't necessarily want that to happen. So if you need to make a call or send a text, do it outside. Next is an update on public comment questions from prior meetings. I know I wasn't at the last meeting, but I don't believe we have any updates.
No.
So if we do, we'll do them at the next meeting. And now we have public comment for items not on today's agenda. We will be using the select board's established procedures for public comment, limiting comments to 3 minutes or less and not engaging in deliberation, simply taking comments for future action. We do not have any attendees on our attendees list, but I guess if there's any participants on Zoom wishing to make a public comment, please raise your hand. And then I see we have at least one public comment physically present in the room. So if you want to come to the table and identify yourself for the record and then make your comment, please do so.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Get closer so that thing can kick you.
Okay. I don't want that.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you. For the record, I'm Emily Molden, Executive Director of the Nantucket Land and Water Council. And I wanted to just come this evening in public comment and just make a request to the commission regarding the geotubes, existing geotubes on the beach. I think it has probably been about 5 months since the damage was done, and I think quite a bit longer since any mitigation was last placed on them, probably close to a year. I understand there may be discussions beginning or ongoing about next steps since town meeting, but we haven't had any resolution on the new permits as of yet. And I feel like it's in everyone's best interest right now to get some mitigation onto those geotubes. And certainly with regard to the interests that this commission protects, I think probably the worst case scenario is leaving the unmitigated structure out there on the beach ongoing. So recognizing that it might take some time to figure out what those next steps are, I wanted to come to the commission because I do believe that you guys have the authority to help with that and with this scenario, using the process that I think was used last year when some mitigation was placed, and see if the commission would have a discussion at maybe an upcoming meeting to consider a friendly enforcement order to get some sand out there on the geotubes. I don't think it needs to be complicated. I don't know exactly how much. I don't think there needs to necessarily be a big long-term plan, but I think that a requirement to get some sand out there to cover the geotubes would be in everyone's best interest. So I'd love for the commission to discuss and consider that, and maybe the request is to put it on as an agenda item at an upcoming meeting.
It is agenda item at tonight's meeting
Oh.
for
okay.
enforcement order, so
Great.
apologies, but we'll be talking more about this later.
Okay, sorry, I guess it is on the agenda, so
It's
I'm,
okay.
I'm probably,
No worries.
It's,
all right.
and it's, I think it's understandable too, because not to interrupt, but we've had like a running agenda item
Yeah,
sort of,
particularly on
and I
it.
think it's kind of made it harder to notice when there's a new.
And I knew there was a continuance, so I thought it wasn't on the agenda,
No,
but
it is, we did, we'll talk about it more, we did receive a letter indicating that maybe not a whole lot of information is available, but we will be talking about it as a committee anyway, so stay tuned until later in this meeting.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else
Here
wishing
for it.
to make a
Yeah.
comment? Okay. So we'll move on to the public hearing. Starting with notice of intent. We don't have any in section A for no waiver required. So we'll move to section B, waiver required. And the first is 240 Pulpus LLC, 240 Pulpus Road, SE 483975. Represented by Brian Madden. Brian, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. So I think at the last meeting, we had presented the plans and continued the meeting to have an on-site, which we had on Tuesday for the majority of the members. We have taken into consideration the feedback received at the first meeting, and we'll be working on updated materials as discussed. But just wanted to check in with the commission if there was anything additional to expand upon based on the onsite on Tuesday.
Thank you. Commissioners, any comments or questions for Brian? Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brian, thank you for the site visit. I think it was helpful. One thing that just stuck out to me was the invasive species, and that's certainly at your discretion or your client's discretion, but if they're considering improvements in the area, that is just one observation I had that was a potential improvement, but up to you all, of course. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for that comment. And yeah, we have discussed it with the group, and we'd be very willing to expand upon the restoration to include some targeted invasive species management where appropriate on site. So we can provide a little bit more detail on that with the upcoming submission.
Thank you. Linda, go ahead.
I mentioned it when we were on the site as well. I agree with Mike. That would be a great benefit. But I also mentioned it the last time, and I think you mentioned that you were looking at that, is to, if the house moves forward, you have a full foundation under this thing, the pool should move forward with it and not be at the closest edge of that foundation, since you're planning on putting it really in the envelope of the foundation as the house moves forward into a new foundation. So I think that would be very beneficial for you to keep that pool moving forward with it and not leave it out as far as it can get.
Thank you. We have started to look at some concepts to integrate the pool closer to the relocated house footprint, more in line with the existing deck or proposed deck reconfiguration, and looking at a slightly smaller pool as well.
Cool.
Other commissioners?
No.
Just on the topic of invasive species, I mean, I saw the honeysuckle that was out there and there's a few problematic grasses, but it didn't seem as bad as some other sites, honestly. I always welcome invasive species management, but just really focusing on those species.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, they had like orchard grass, I think, and there maybe was some miscanthus that I saw in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anybody else? Questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing not, I take it that it's your intent to want to continue.
Yes, to June 4th, please.
Thank you. This will continue till June 4th.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to Diane V. Elliott, 2022 Revocable Trust at 28 Lily Street, SU 48 3976, also represented by Brian Madden. Brian, go ahead.
Thank you very much. For the record, Brian Madden from LEC. Do you want me to share my screen, Will?
Let him bring my computer.
I have it up if you
Yeah, we'll
want me
we'll
to.
get
Okay. Yep. So the proposed project involves a vertical expansion to the existing garage. Sorry, do you have it pulled up on your end or?
Yeah,
It's
one
on
second.
this
Adobe was
screen up here, but we got to get it onto the Zoom.
Okay.
Adobe was opening and made a giant window.
So we do have bordering vegetated wetlands that run along the northerly portion of the property. And the existing garage is off of the way that's located on the east side that descends from Lily Street. No changes to the proposed foundation or footprint to the garage, so this is straight vertical. There is going to be a sewer pump chamber proposed within the existing driveway outside the 25-foot buffer zone, and a water line. Those utilities will extend up to Lily Street. The reason why we requested a waiver was the limit of work is set along the northerly shrub line, the lawn edge. You can see there's a short segment of a split rail fence in that northeast corner. So, for the fact that presumably there's going to be like some storage of materials or some minor disturbance for the vertical renovation, we did request that waiver, and any disturbed areas would be restored in kind to pre-existing conditions, but that erosion control barrier being proposed silt fence will define that developed condition. And so we did request the waiver under the no adverse, no reasonable alternative for the limit of work erosion control barrier. And I'll turn
Thank
over
you.
to questions.
Okay, commissioners, questions or comments?
Another preference.
Members of the public, any questions or comments? Seeing not, Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Just went to unmute. Yes, we do.
Brian, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Linda. Is there a second?
Second.
You, Mike, by roll call vote. John Schaefer,
Aye.
Archie Turcott, aye. Mike Mazzarelli,
Aye.
Joe Pandowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams,
Aye.
Seth Engelborg, aye. That carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. And now we'll move on to amended orders of conditions. No waiver required. So, I have to recuse from number 4, Luxury Brands Inc. at 100 Low Beach Road, since I recused from the original notice of intent.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we will decide if anyone wants to open 1, 2, and 3. And then if so, we'll hear them. If not, we'll close them. And then Linda, you can figure out number 4 after we do that. So Lionheart at 11 Jonathan Way, SC 483217. Would anybody like to hear this?
No.
Man, I remember talking about this property for months.
Yeah, a long time ago.
A long time ago. Any members of the public wishing to open that application? Okay. How about the land bank at 2 Milestone Road and 174 Orange Street, SU 483800?
Nope.
Any members of the public? And the land bank at 231 Pulpus Road, SU 483540.
Nope.
Commissioners? Members of the public? Will, do we have everything we need to close those applications?
Yes, we do.
We'll take the applicant's consent to close. Is there a motion to close?
Motion to close 1, 2, and 3 on the agenda.
Second,
Thank you, Linda and Mike for the second, by roll call vote. John Schaefer,
Aye.
Archie Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Miserelli,
aye.
Joe Pandowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams.
Aye.
Seth Engelberg, aye. That carries unanimously. Those are closed. And Linda, you can take care of number 4.
Okay, we now coming up to Luxury Brands Inc., 100 Low Beach Road, SE 483562. Brian Madden is here for that one. Does anybody have any questions about that one?
Nope.
Do we have everything we need?
We do.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to close it?
So moved.
Or a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. RJ, all those in favor, John,
Aye.
RJ,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and myself is aye. Okay, thank you. Fearless leader.
Took longer to get over there than it did.
So far.
And you can't go on the other side because it's a
Lost
mobile dentist.
Are they still over there?
Yeah, they're great.
They've
All right.
been here all week.
Section D, orders, amended orders of conditions, waiver required. We have one Nantucket Islands Land Bank 50 through 56 Mattocket Road, SC 483915, represented by Liz Phelps. Liz, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Liz Phelps representing Nantucket Islands Land Bank. As with the other 2 amended order requests that didn't require waivers, this is a request for an amended order to do restoration seeding in conjunction with invasive species management, which was authorized by the original order of conditions. We're requesting permission to do restoration seeding in the same areas where the invasive management will occur. And the proposed seed mixtures are in the application. We believe that the project is eligible for a waiver due to the fact that it will provide a long-term net benefit and won't cause adverse impacts to the resource areas. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Commissioners, any comments or questions? Yes, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Liz, I'm just curious what seating window you're trying to trying to hit. Is it the spring or this fall?
This year, we're actually probably not gonna do it because we haven't started the invasives management. This will be the first year. We think we're probably gonna give the site some time, and then start the restoration seeding next spring.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
No.
Any comments or questions from members of the public? Seeing none. Will, do we have everything we need to close?
Yes, we do.
Liz, would you like to close?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to close?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Linda. Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you, Mike. By roll call vote. John Schaefer,
Aye.
Archie Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Miserelli,
aye.
Joe Pandowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams,
Aye.
Seth Engelberg, aye. That carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. So, we will move on to our public meeting. We'll begin with orders of conditions and amended order of conditions for no waiver required. And we'll send these out. We can go through them, or we can trust our staff.
Trust our staff.
All right, so we do need to do number 4 separately though. So Will, do you have orders prepared for number 1, 2, and 3, Linehart and the 2 land bank properties?
Yes, I do, and appreciate the reluctant vote of
Trust.
confidence.
Don't
abuse
Don't abuse it.
All right, does anybody have anything to say about those?
No,
Okay, is there a motion to issue the orders for those 3?
so move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, RJ. By a roll call vote, John Schaefer,
Aye.
RJ Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Bizarelli,
Aye.
Joe Pandowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams.
Aye.
That thing work aye, that carries unanimously, and we'll issue those 3. And Linda, you can take number 4 again.
Anybody have any questions about luxury brands? You're all ready for that one?
Yes,
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the issuance of that, for luxury brands, SC 483562, John,
Aye.
RJ,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
myself, and Seth is recused. Thank you. Come back.
Thank you, Linda. Right, now section B, orders of conditions, amended orders of conditions, waiver required. We didn't close 240 Pulpus, so we'll go on to Diane V. Elliott, 2022 Irrevocable Trust at 28 Lily Street, SC 483976. Will sent these out and can get this one up on the screen for us for public review.
We're listening to the conversation next door.
I'm good to hear it. All right. This is for 28 Lily Street, I just got confused because it's not the amended order and I was looking for bold type. 28 Lily Street. Order permits the proposed construction of a second-story garage addition and appurtenances, as well as reestablishment of disturbed lawn areas at 28 Lily Street within buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Waiver is required for this project as proposed, non-NHESP, condition 18 and 19. And then we have condition 20 for no FERT or other agricultural chemicals are allowed within commission jurisdiction. 21, all plantings within commission jurisdiction shall be native species with no cultivars allowed. 22, all lighting shall be in compliance with chapter 102 of the Nantucket Town Code. Waivers are required to 390-18B1 to allow reestablishment of disturbed lawn areas within the 25-foot buffer to a bordering vegetated wetland. The commission finds this project as proposed will not result in additional adverse impacts to the resource areas through buffer zone restoration and project design. Therefore, commission grants a waiver under 393H3A of the Nantucket Wetlands Regulations.
Okay, commissioners, any comments, questions, or additions?
Nope.
No.
Is there a motion to approve and issue the order as drafted?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. By a roll call vote, John Schaefer,
Aye.
RJ Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Bizarelli,
Aye.
Joe Pandowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams.
Aye.
Seth Engelman guy that carries unanimously. And then we have the Nantucket Islands Land Bank, 5356 Mattica Road, SC 483915, which Will also sent out and we'll get up on the screen.
But I do need to grab something for it
Okay,
because.
it's an amended order here.
Yep, so at the end, I need our net benefit waivers to throw in there. I forgot to add our bold type at the end for the waiver. Because the waiver that was already on this project was the automatic invasive species one, so it's just a different.
Okay, that's fine.
There's somebody car in here.
I don't think of mine, but
It's not mine.
It's not me.
I'm just looking out the window because you drive me crazy.
On me. Or we're pausing the meeting.
No, that's good anyway.
It's not me.
Wow.
All right, yeah, if you can get the second waiver on there and.
Yeah, second.
One was in our trucks, been out there.
Classic.
Was it?
Place planting.
How embarrassing.
Well, it must have stopped on its own because nobody's there to.
Just ran out of battery.
Oh, it'll start up again in about 5 minutes. If that's the case.
We all gonna get up again?
I don't know why I didn't go to the clickable one, but here we go.
That Jeopardy music going in my head.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Listen to the wonderful sounds of the dentist office.
There's somebody yelling in there.
Yeah, I heard a drill. Just kidding, no, I didn't. I haven't actually heard anything electrical.
No, I haven't either. I did
You're
yesterday
just
though.
doing regular.
Just flossing.
It
They're not drilling
is
in
called
anything.
floss time, so.
It'd be root canal time.
No, they do cavities and stuff.
Oh, they do cavities. Okay, they could
Trust
be
me.
drilling over there.
Hopefully not.
Wow, without a Novocaine.
All right.
Long-term net benefit.
You didn't spell benefit right.
We'll fix that.
It has to
Not
say
current.
long-term.
Just put another E in there.
Benefit.
One of these days.
This is my worst nightmare, is having to type in front of a bunch of people.
I know.
I can't
Sorry.
imagine. I can't
So
imagine
he's
trying to.
being paid to do it and we're volunteer.
It's great too, because I'm like a 2-finger typer.
Yeah.
I don't understand how somebody your age is a 2-finger typer.
Type fast though. All right. We'll just go over this real quick. The amended plan of record is listed out. The permit overview, this order has been amended to include supplemental native plantings and seedings per special condition number 21 of this order. We added in a specific monitoring report condition for the replanted area because our monitoring was all mostly specific to regrowth in the treatment area. And then waiver is required for the amended order for seedings within buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. The commission finds the project as proposed, just adding A. Commission finds the project as proposed will result in a long-term net benefit to the resource area and therefore grants a waiver under.
Yeah, I was gonna say under.
All right.
There,
There you go.
any comments, questions, or additions beyond that?
I'll make a motion to
We need to
Issue.
approve the amended order as
the amended
amended.
order as amended.
Thank you. Take your motion and we need a second.
Second.
All right, thank you, RJ. By roll call vote,
Luca?
John Schaefer,
Aye.
RJ Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Miserly,
Aye.
Joe Plindowski. Linda Williams.
I,
Seth Ingberg, that carries unanimously. Moving on to request for determination of applicability. In section C, we don't have any for delineation only. Section D, we have 2 for work requested. These are Setterberg at 12 Jonathan Way and Town of Nantucket Somerset Road. Do any commissioners wish to discuss these?
no,
Will, have you reviewed these and do you have recommendations for us?
Yes, I do.
Please tell us what they are.
Yes, I have, and yes, I do. Yikes. So for the Somerset Road, I'm recommending a -2 and a -3. Which in my cheat sheet here, I love this.
It's wild seeing your notepad.
That's it. You're behind the scenes. -2, the work described in the request is within an area subject to jurisdiction under the act, but will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter that area. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent. -3, Work described in the request is within the buffer zone as defined in the regulations, but will not alter an area subject to jurisdiction under the act. Therefore, said work does not require the filing of a notice of intent. And Jonathan Way, we had the same boxes checked, but the addition of the resource area delineation. So we also have a positive 2A, which is the boundary delineations of the resource areas described on the reference plans are confirmed as accurate. Resource area boundaries confirmed in this determination are binding as to all decisions rendered pursuant to the WPA and its regulations regarding such boundaries. And then we had the -2 and -3, which if you want me to read them
Yeah,
again,
read it
I
again.
can.
No,
Is there a motion to issue the request for determination of applicability with the determinations that Will has read out into the record?
for both of them?
For both.
Yeah, so move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, both Linda and Mike. By roll call vote, John Schaefer,
Aye.
RJ Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Misrelli,
Aye.
Joe Plendowski.
Aye.
Linda Williams,
Aye.
Seth Ward, aye. That carries unanimously and those have been issued. Minor modifications, section E. I have to recuse from number 2, so we'll take 1 and 3. Anybody wishing to open the 1 and 3?
No,
Okay. Is there a motion to issue the minor modifications for Coppers Island Holdings LLC at 47 Crooked Lane, SC 48 3823, and Triple T Farm LLC 1 Westchester Street, SC 48 3870?
so move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. By roll call vote, John Schaefer,
Aye.
RJ Turcott,
Aye.
Joe Plendowski,
Aye.
Mike Misrelli,
Aye.
Linda Williams.
Aye.
Seth Engelberg, aye. And Linda, take number 2.
Okay. Minor mods. Anybody have any comments on that one? I want to talk about it? No, we're all set?
Indeed.
Okay, so we want to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay, and that would be Osprey Way Real Estate Trust, 1 Osprey Way, SC 483741. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, RJ. All those in favor, John,
Aye.
RJ,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and myself, and with Seth, recused. Okay, we're just whipping through here until we get to other business.
Doing good.
So.
Thank you, Linda. So that takes us to certificates of compliance. We have 1 Somerset LLC, 5 High Brush Path, SC 48 3789. Would anyone like to open this for discussion? No. Will, have you been up to the site and do you have a recommendation for us?
I have, and I have some continuing
I was
conditions.
gonna ask that.
Do you find the site in compliance?
I did, yes, site is in compliance. I
Okay,
skipped
and
ahead.
let us know what the continuing conditions are.
All right, so we've got condition 20 through 26, and it will be all of them. Condition 20, pool shall not be drained or discharged into an area within commission jurisdiction. 21, pool shall not be chemically treated between November 1st and May 1st. 22, chemical treatment shall stop 3 weeks prior to any draining or discharging of the pool. 23, for the contact information of the pool company. 24, for the pool water to be pumped by a truck to the treatment facility. 25, for all exterior lighting to be directed away from the resource area. 26, this was a weird specific one for this project, but all proposed planting beds on the plan of record shall be non-structural. Guessing
Yeah,
we,
I remember that.
I remember it.
I know what it was about.
I think it seems make sense to
They
continue.
were talking about putting a landscape hers and we wanted the height to be
Yeah.
not to be considered a retaining wall, but. Anyways, is there a motion to issue the certificate of compliance with the ongoing conditions that Will has read into the record?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. By roll call vote, John Schaefer,
Aye.
RJ Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Misrelli,
Aye.
Joe Plendowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams.
Aye.
Seth Engelberg, aye. That carried unanimously. G, extension requests, we have none. H, other business. first item is approval of minutes from May 7th, 2026. Is there any comments, questions, or additions to the minutes?
Thank you, Lisa.
I think there's one mistake. I think it said I was the chair, but I wasn't even at that meeting, so we need to say that. the chair-
that was corrected.
That was.
Oh, it was
correct.
awesome.
Yeah, I was the chair.
Thank you, Joe, also then.
Although I am the chair, I wasn't even there, chair pro tem, but we don't.
We
wanna-
elected.
We don't wanna
we
slight, we
elected
don't wanna
actually-
slight Mr. Israeli over here.
Yeah, we elected him. We
Thank you
actually
for-
had
Okay,
to
so
register
if
the
it was
vote.
corrected though, we can go
The
ahead.
vote has to be specified that he was made pro temp.
I'm gonna make sure that the vote was recorded and
Yeah.
then.
So I'll make a motion to accept them.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Linda, and Mike for the second by roll call vote. RJ turns out. Aye. Mike Israeli,
Aye.
Joe Planowski,
Aye.
Linda Williams.
John Schaefer.
Yeah, I'll get him.
Aye.
Linda Williams,
Aye.
John Schaefer,
Aye.
Seth Engelborg. I will abstain because I wasn't there.
Okay.
Two crazy things with the order.
Crazy things, yeah. That carries with 5 in the affirmative and 1 abstain. So. Monitoring reports, we have none in our packet. Committee reports, we have the Coastal Resiliency Advisory Committee, our representative is not here. Community Preservation Committee, John, do you have an update for us?
Nothing new. I wasn't at the meeting, but we're doing our administrative stuff. Have a meeting in June, so thank you.
Thank you. The Nantucket Planning and Economic Development Commission, which might not have that name for that much longer.
Nothing new. We meet on the 28th.
Okay. Harbor Plan Update Committee. Did it finally pass? The state accepted it?
Well, the DEP took their sweet time trying to work themselves through it, and they're still not done with it, but they did send it back here for our West, and the committee met Monday. And went over the changes that they asked for, a lot of them based on chapter 91 language and a lawsuit that was brought against them up in Boston. And so the language had to be changed, and there were just a few other minor changes that we talked about. And so we approved those. They're gonna clean up the draft. Send it back to the DEP, and we have to go get the selectmen to approve it and yada, yada, yada. Then it will come back to the committee to make sure that it's clean. And then it can go where it needs to go.
That's great. 'Cause we have several people in the room who either are on the committee or previously were on the committee, so I just want that to be finally.
Yes,
accepted.
we do. And then we gotta deal with the implementation group, which could be, Seth, pretty much the same group.
The speed of government.
Okay. So that's it for committee reports. We will go to enforcement actions and potential enforcement actions. We have 3 listed today. Before we get to those, Will, are there any new and emerging issues to come before your desk?
Not at the moment.
That's good. That's what we want to hear.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
So the first is 21R Nantucket Road. I understand we have representatives here for us, but before we get to that, do we have any staff update or
See you come in.
going right to them?
I think we
Yeah.
can go right to them unless we just want to mention we performed site visits and last week. Or this week,
On this Tuesday.
we're at the end of May. I have no idea what day it is, except for the fact that we're here, so it must be Thursday. But we had our site visit at 21R on Tuesday, so the commission has been out to view the situation at hand, and that's really my only update.
Okay, we have representatives here. Please introduce yourself for the record with your name and your connection to the project, and then go ahead.
Okay, Paul Santos with Nantucket Surveyors. On behalf of the applicant, we are a surveying and engineering company. And
Jesse Bell, on behalf of the homeowner at 21 R.
so this is the second meeting. We came before the board previously, or the commission previously, and requested essentially a voluntary enforcement action for work that was done on the property at 21R Nantucket Road, which is currently owned by 21R Nantucket Road Realty Trust. The work that was done by an abutter to the property located at 16 Meadow Lane. And we came before you, presented a plan at that time that, which basically showed what the, work that was done without the benefit of a permit on the subject property. That work involved, removal of vegetation, placement of a lawn, placement of 2 terraced stone landscape walls, and then some landscaping within the actual terracing of the landscape walls. We presented the plan, the commission, saw it fit to do include a site inspection, that took place this past Tuesday. Subsequent or prior to that, we submitted a voluntary restoration plan, which involves restoring the area vegetatively. And that plan, I think, has within the packet for tonight's meeting. And that shows all the work that's currently within the 100-foot regulated area that would be restored, not to its natural state, but to what we feel is an appropriate plantings for the particular area. The one issue with that particular area is you'll notice on that plan, at the time that this was done, if it had been permitted, there was 2 small sections of the landscape retaining walls that would have fallen within the 50-foot no build. You see on that plan the 75, but if you look to the left, the next line there is the 50-foot no build. Current regulations, obviously, we have the 50 to 75 and then the 100-foot buffer. So what we are asking for is the board's acquiescence on this mitigation plan, but also we feel it's in the best interest, and based on the site location and everything else, is to leave the landscape walls in place.
Intact.
Yes.
Okay.
And happy to answer any questions that you may have. Jesse may be able to shed a little bit more light on what correspondence has taken place between the abutter and the lot owner, the current owner. But happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
So I think last time I was in front of this commission, I represented that, it was, the work was done unintentionally, not knowing that they were in a jurisdictional area, and that the neighbor was willing to make it right, and, I think, and was being very cooperative, but he's pretty much gone silent, and it's been unresponsive. So, it's been disappointing.
Cause he did the work.
The commission did actually issue an enforcement order for 16.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so,
But we can't make him pay. That's a civil issue. We can't make him pay.
Right,
To
that,
fix
that's
it.
being dealt with.
Yeah.
Not sure about that, but we can't make him pay to fix it, but we can impose penalties for
Right.
unpermitted work, so. So that is unfortunate, but yeah, so let's talk about first the
plan.
restoration plan. People's thoughts on the species represented, and then people's thoughts on the landscape. Well, and we'll talk about the tools we have in our toolbox at this commission in order to ensure compliance. And then obviously there's things outside our commission in the legal landscape that I'm sure Jesse's working on, but we have, as I like to say, a lot of tools to ensure compliance. So let's talk about the plan first. Anyone have thoughts on that? Like,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A general question, I guess, for Paul and for everybody on the commission to consider. Do we know if the landscape walls are just dry stacked, or are they,
I think they're mortar.
Yeah,
They're
it looked
mortar. They're
heavier than
mortar.
that.
Yeah, stone and mortar.
Yeah.
So I guess the question for the group, just to make sure we're doing our due diligence, is like, if they stay in there and there's a deterioration over the long term, does that create a problem that we're okay with, or do they just stay because by removing them, we're creating more disturbance in the area? So Just curious, whatever the other people's thoughts are.
I'm not so sure about us creating more disturbance by removing them. I see why from a non-jurisdictional or regulatory purpose why they were put in there because there's a clear change of grade. I mean, you're at the top of the hill at 21R and then you're going down to a valley at 16 whatever, 16 Meadow. But I mean, that slope goes pretty much along the rest of the property line and was naturally vegetated. And I don't see any reason why it couldn't be restored with vegetation. You're already talking about putting in multiple different shrubs and doing that type of work. Like obviously, I obviously understand that that would require machinery, so it's a discussion we could have, but I mean, if this came into the commission today, we would be unlikely to permit at least 50 to 75% of these walls here. And even under the old regulations, which I understand the work happened when the old regulations were active, but because it wasn't permitted, we are subject to the new regulations. It's a tough thing. We still wouldn't permit the part that was within the 50-foot buffer. I get the part about them functioning as a retaining wall, but at minimum, I think that we don't need two of them there. The top one could be taken out and it could be planted with more shrubs and graded, and then the bottom one could maybe be used for retaining. I personally have trouble about them at all, but maybe that's a compromise. But I'll go to other commissioners for that. Yes, Linda.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Paul, from what we saw there, because I deal with these things all the time, my business. It's terraced between those walls. It goes down, then it goes down again, correct?
Correct.
So if we removed one of them, that's gonna, the grading is gonna be a challenge. Because they're integrated as far as the terrace and then a terrace. So if we remove one of them, I wouldn't even begin to figure out which one, probably the top one. But then the grade would have to be pushed down onto the bottom one. And I don't think you can actually physically accomplish that. But I would be willing to compromise and take the piece out of the 50, if that's possible. And replant that.
Okay, John, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Paul. Is the rationale behind leaving these landscape walls monetary? Or I mean, I feel like we're kind of penalizing this guy for fixing his neighbor's mistake here. Is that part of the rationale, or is there another reason why you want to leave them?
No, I think it was, well, obviously, first of all, the monetary part would be, they'd be seeking compensation from the neighbor, but,
More compensation.
Yeah.
We're already seeking.
Okay,
I think it was more so just it was a way to restore the area with least amount of disturbance and just, clean it up. I think that's what's more so.
had more to do with the resource area than, okay, I got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
It has to, the justification is to try to basically fix the vegetation cutting without changing grades or
Yeah.
stringing machinery or anything
Yeah.
in like that. I understand that.
Got
And
it.
I understand that again, this is an interesting scenario where the person that, or one of the entities that this violation is being assessed to didn't do the work and they voluntarily asked us to do this, but still we do have to consider what the regulations say and it wouldn't be allowed. So it's a little bit of a difficult scenario, but that's where I'm at. Anyone who hasn't spoken on this, go ahead, RJ.
If we have any inkling that it would be better for the resource area to have them gone, we should do it now while it's already disturbed before these plantings go back in. And I too, I think it's better for the resource area to remove them now, but I agree with John that this, yeah, it shouldn't fall on the property owner because it wasn't them. I don't know that they are mortared, or I'm pretty sure they're mortared, but
Yeah, they're solid. They're
Yeah.
actually retaining a
Yeah.
lot of weight.
the slope was, unless a lot of regrading got done, do you know?
I don't know.
Because the slope was holding itself the rest of the way around.
Yeah, the slope there, it's, not eroding out, if the walls were taken out and grading. Some grading will need to happen, but then if you're gonna do the type of restoration planting that's proposed here, it's like significant restoration with native shrubs. Yes, it'll take time and there might be some need for temporary retention, but that will hold that bank there fine. I mean, it's not in a like wind-driven area, it's not in a floodplain, it's not in a erosional situation, it's a place where that type of vegetated bank can and should function, and absolutely that serves the interests, our interests in the resource area significantly better than escape walls. So, Linda, go ahead.
Having dealt with similar situations, when and if those walls come out, that bank is no longer stable. So when they regrade it and put the dirt back, so it's a natural slope down to the one below it, there is nothing that's gonna hold that dirt there. Because it's all been disturbed, it's all been pulled out, and we're gonna pack it back on there, but it's not going to be as stable and as solid as it was before they did this. Which means that something would have to be riprap or something put on it so it didn't flow back down the hill, and I'm not sure it's ever gonna be as stable, given the slope. From the top to the bottom is a good, 10 feet? Given that slope, I don't know if it's ever gonna be stable again because they chopped it up and put the walls in it. So that's why I'm willing to compromise, leave the walls there. And take the piece out of the 50. And slope that down, because it's coming this direction, not that direction so much.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I just see problems trying to get it stabilized, and I just see it coming down the hill.
I won't argue with you technically. Obviously, having a mortared wall is going to hold a bank better than some plant roots, but that's not necessarily our concern. Our concern is providing function for the resource area. There are plenty of projects that we've permitted throughout the whole island that have done very similar things. Yes, I mean, there might need to be some temporary erosion control blanketing put in, or maybe some
Additional plan.
additional planting, or maybe some
Could be
fencing to hold the slope, but like this type of thing happens all the time in the restoration world, all around the world. This is like restoration 101. And having a well vegetated native species slope over a landscape wall is significantly better for many performance standards, wildlife, wetland scenic views, flood prevention. I could probably go on a list more. It's just significantly better. But Will, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, real quick, just my only consideration to throw in, and it's partially a problem that is not ours to solve, but I think it creates some secondary concerns for us. In my head, if you do have to use equipment to remove this wall,
Mhm.
which I would assume you probably
Minimum
do.
of
Well,
maybe
You
bobcat.
could do it by hand with 10 people and
Yeah.
Not if it's cement.
jackhammer, but anyway. Whatever the equipment access is, the only way to get there without probably creating a whole lot of disturbance would be through that neighbor's property that is no longer playing ball.
Yeah.
So, I
And
mean,
that's not me saying don't do it, but
when it came in originally, it sounded like they were gonna be willing to be on board, so,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm aware of that, but it's
Yeah.
still something we need to discuss.
For it to be done from this property, we're looking at the left of the deck or patio on that backside,
Yeah.
on the wetland,
Yeah.
And the
through the
wet-
driveway,
Yeah.
manipulate that slope to get a machine back in there and then go.
That's what I'm saying, the
It's-
disturbance is
it-
gonna be massive.
Yeah, but
Whereas
And the
right here,
runoff
you
is
could-
gonna be massive.
You could come right in on.
yeah,
wall.
it would be nice if they got back on board and you just go through their lawn and deal with it that way, but
But it's their
it
violation,
is their
so.
violation. And
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean,
It's a weird situation.
Well, even with the work that's going on they control 14 also.
Yeah,
Right.
So you'd come in, actually what we
Yeah.
do is come in through 14
and honestly, like,
that way.
I mean, how'd they put them
Again.
in?
what's up?
How did they put them in?
or.
From their yard.
And then stuff it in.
I mean, honestly, so here's the thing, like,
Equipment to access,
they're-
they're no longer,
they're a party to this, so
right,
I mean, again, when people engage respectfully and politely, it's easier, but we do have tools to compel them for this to happen. Do we want to go down that route? We may have to, but this is what the point of enforcement is. The point of enforcement isn't to say, hey, this is hard to do, so let's forsake our jurisdictional regulatory responsibilities. It's somebody committed an unpermitted violation. Let's make sure that they fix it. I mean,
I don't think anybody was saying that.
no, I know. I don't
Just
think
to
anyone.
be clear, I
I
wasn't
know
saying
either,
that.
but I'm just saying,
Well.
It's saying you gotta consider.
it
the
sounded like a
question.
great situation before, and maybe it's not a great situation now, and there's gonna be a lot of litigation and violations and compelling of action, but we have all the tools we need. We have everything we need to make sure it happens.
There's a question that has not been answered.
Go ahead.
Which is, probably can't have to get it from them. What was going on? It sat there for a while, they sat down there, we sat up here. What was going on that bank? That may have been a problem, that they felt compelled to do what they did.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get that, I haven't gotten that answer, but what was happening? Was this bank unstable to begin with and started to crumble down into there? Cause they're so much lower.
That's why I asked if there was regrading.
Yeah, what was going on that made him do this? Because nobody's gonna spend this kind of money and cut someone else's property and put walls over here unless there was something happening that in his mind compelled them to do it. Why would they waste the money and the time if it was just lying there and nobody bothering it and it was all covered with vegetation? What was the problem to begin with?
It looks
think
nice,
they cared
but-
about that. I mean, the whole, like, the
They did
clearing,
it
the
over here, too.
unauthorized clearing
Yeah, yeah.
is like
Yeah.
pretty massive.
And they
Yeah.
did it on the next lot, but what was the problem with this bank?
We don't know the depth of these walls, whether they have footings or not.
I
Would we
believe
be
they
talking-
do.
Were we talking about just taking it maybe below grade
I think.
and then burying it?
Yeah, I think we should at least get some information on what the architectural design is, what the depth and elevations, what the material is, what the scope of work it would be to actually do it. If you go through all of that and
Yeah.
you submit something to us and then we review it at a time, we may later decide that it's not worth the
Yeah.
impact, but we don't really know that without you
Yeah,
doing that.
and I can
Yeah.
also look at the slope too, because I mean, just in general practice, when we look at slopes, we'll say a 3-to-1 slope would be 3 horizontal to 1 vertical.
Mhm.
Yeah,
A 3-to-1 slope you can mow. 2-to-1, you can stabilize vegetation. When you're at a 1-to-1, like Linda said, you're at a rock, you're at some type of form of
You're
hard
throwing yourself over the
stabilization.
cliff
you
is
know.
what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand, but
but-
I guess we just don't have the
Yeah.
complete information we need at this point, but Mike, go ahead.
So, just my last comment on the landscape walls altogether, this type of wall, in my experience over time, especially in an area that you're gonna create back to natural, is gonna deteriorate. And, it's gonna deteriorate on your client's property. I don't wanna make it any more difficult for anybody, but I just don't, if there's a reason why they can't, we're on the right track. Paul's gonna look at it
Yeah.
and we'll see if they should be taken out, or we'll have some more information to make a determination. But I think personally, in my professional opinion, like, these walls don't stand forever. I don't care if they're mortared or anything. Water gets in them, there's
Yeah.
freeze and thaw, and they eventually deteriorate.
Yeah, especially if they are holding them.
Holding a lot of weight.
Something you can assess, Paul? or
Yeah, we may have to bring somebody in. I can
Bring
discuss what
somebody
the
in.
construction is, what the.
Responsive neighbors.
Yeah, no, I mean, since
Bring
it's,
the radio
I mean, there's a small portion that's on that neighbor's property, but
Yeah.
pretty much most of this wall is on your client's property. And you should be able to figure that out with
Yeah.
the information that you have, or Paul or somebody else can go and survey it and figure it out.
And I think subject, to what Mike was saying, I think, they're only gonna get one bite at the apple for compensation from the neighbor here. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
if 10 years down the road, all of a sudden the walls are
Yeah.
a problem,
Yeah.
you're not gonna go back and say, oh yeah, by the way,
Your wall.
Yeah,
now can we get some more, I think that's the time now is to go after
We
whatever you
gotta
gotta
get
go
it now.
after.
yeah, the thing too, like. I agree with Mike, I mean, I don't work in that field, but.
Yeah.
I've seen so many walls deteriorate over time, and then later, let's say we allowed these walls to stay, and then they did deteriorate, and then. Your client tried to submit a notice of intent for rebuilding them.
Yeah.
It might be a difficult sell, I mean, it's it's unpermitted. And even if it goes through the enforcement order, it's still unpermitted, so then, people could usually make the claim of pre-existing, but it's not really in this case because it wasn't ever permanent. It's gonna get very complicated to do any repair work ever on these walls.
And then,
I don't want that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
I don't know if it's appropriate for us to discuss at this time, or we're almost more in continuance land, but if there's no. Basically got and it's all been voluntary, but a resource area that needs to get back into compliance, and if there's not cooperation between the neighbors, are we compelled to make another level of enforcement to?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, but before we do that. Does anybody have comments about the planting plan or the species being proposed?
No,
I'm good.
No, I don't think.
I think obviously maybe it might need to be changed if the walls aren't there, but in general, it seems fine.
Yep.
Some of the areas probably. I hope I wouldn't have it, well, maybe not if we have to move machinery in there, but the areas here. In the lawn, with that says the clutter at the back race, I wouldn't have any problem with it happening right away, but. I guess it depends how machinery is getting in, so. That's fun.
well, you're not gonna be.
Oh,
noisy.
For-
Never gonna
The other.
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah, blow right over the hill.
As to figuring out what's going to happen, to make sure that
They're hitting the switches.
you're good. As I figure out what's gonna happen to make sure that the restoration work happens on both properties, with seemingly a neighbor who's no longer interested in voluntarily complying. So on the enforcement order, both properties are listed under the violation. And so far, nobody from 16 Meadow Lane has appeared before this commission to explain anything as to what their justification was, what their intentions were, et cetera, et cetera. Linda has all these questions about why did they put the law in the first place. We can certainly compel them to attend our meeting to get answers to those questions if people are interested in that. And then if they don't answer those summons and don't give us the information they need and don't get on board with being a willing participant, we can assess monetary penalties, and we can also,
Take it every.
right, yeah, we can do that, or we can assess civil penalties, and we can also to use some of the other tools in the toolbox to kind of force them to get on board. But although I respect Mrs. Bell's opinion and her
Mrs.
knowledge that she is saying they're not being cooperative, technically that's not really in the public record from that violator, so we should at least get them in here to hear their side and figure out what we want to do next.
Yeah.
All right, so when's the next meeting? June 4th? Let's send them a letter saying that they must appear to explain themselves and to see why they're no longer being cooperative.
For the June 4th meeting.
June 4th.
All right.
You look so excited.
No, I was just,
Is that okay? Is that too soon?
No, they know.
It's
it's
a-
built
Yeah,
out.
no.
No, they know.
it's enough time. It's enough time.
Would that be, I mean, we can do it regardless, but would that be helpful? for you guys?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely. I mean,
so-
she would like to get the landscape. I mean, I guess we'll just work from the outside the 100 on that other clearing area for now.
Yeah.
But now's the time to put landscaping in. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
My hope would be that if we can engage with the other homeowner too, we can eventually secure equipment access from the side that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hopefully.
definitely.
That
It's tough because I wanna say I go ahead and do the restoration of the areas that don't encompass the wall, but then if we are deciding that you're taking up the wall, that might be the areas that you're gonna have to bring machinery over, so
Yeah.
it might not be in the best interest, but
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not the engineer here. If you think there's a way to do some of it without disturbing the access, but hopefully the access isn't through their property anyways, but I don't know.
and nearest the resource area, maybe you could start.
Yeah, I think you could do, I think you
Yeah.
could do the lawn area quite.
The
Yeah.
lawn area,
Yeah,
where
you
the
could,
buffer and the background.
yeah, you could do
Yeah,
that
like-
lawn
yeah.
area,
and then
Alright.
you're gonna work.
because you're gonna work, really the only way to do it is, because it doesn't make any sense to tear up our yard to do this, or
No.
our client's
You work
yard.
right to left.
It's gonna be coming in that way, you know?
John's got his hand up.
All right, so I see John, but actually, John, go ahead.
Yeah, Paul, can you figure out if that thing has a footing by the next meeting? And,
Oh, yeah, for
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
no problem.
okay, great.
Yep.
All right,
There's a lot of
so
weight on
it sounds like we can at least authorize the restoration of the area that's proposed for pepper bush and groundsel today. We just do need to amend this enforcement order to allow the restoration of that area only. And then we will continue to try to get the rest of the restoration done later, but if someone would like to make a motion to amend the enforcement order to allow the restoration in the lawn area with proposed pepper bush and groundsel.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Linda and Mike for the second. By roll call vote. John Schaefer,
Aye,
Artie Turco,
Aye.
Mike Misrelli,
Aye.
Joe Planowski.
Aye.
Linda Williams.
Aye.
Seth Engelberg, aye. That carries unanimously.
Are you happy now we went in order?
Yeah, that's nice.
So you guys can do that part right away, and if you could get us the information on the walls for the next meeting.
Mhm.
And then we can hopefully get this figured out as sooner rather than later.
Okay.
And do we have everything we need to send the letter to the oral 16?
I think so. Will, do you have everything you need?
Yeah, I believe that could be done through an amendment to the existing enforcement, but I'm wondering if it makes sense to issue a separate enforcement to 16.
14,
It's 16.
It's 16.
but 14 is also the same owner?
Yeah.
Different LLCs, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be 16.
But the bordering property.
Well, there's nothing on the board.
It doesn't really matter either way. We can issue a new
Or
enforcement order.
16, whichever, there's one that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
involved. I think that's 14.
part of me is wondering, not that I'm looking to make more paperwork for myself, but I'm wondering if it might be cleaner to have two different orders, because I foresee some more amendments coming. for
It's
both.
clean, yeah, it's cleaner when there are parties who are not interested in complying, so.
Well, you did issue two.
You
I
did.
did issue two.
Yeah,
from the beginning,
enforcement
right?
order.
Yeah.
I must have just
Yeah.
known it was gonna go this way.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we have it.
No, you
So-
said it that
Force
meeting.
that.
You had to issue 2 of them.
so
Right.
then we also
Yeah.
need to amend the enforcement order for 16 Meadowland
Yeah,
to have Will send a letter requiring that a representative from that owner appear before us at the June 4th meeting with an explanation as to what happened with this violation and how it can come back into compliance. Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Mike. By roll call vote, John Schaefer,
aye,
Archie Turcott,
Aye.
Mike Misrella,
Aye.
Joe Planowski.
Aye.
Linda Williams.
Aye.
Seth Engelberg, aye. That carries unanimously.
Okay.
We hope to see you
Okay.
all on the 4th, and we hope to see them on the 4th, and if they're not here on the 4th, then we will get to the more serious tools that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Paul.
Seth, I gotta jump, okay?
No worries.
See you
Let me
guys.
know, record that Commissioner Schaefer has left the hearing at 6:08 PM.
He's left the building.
The next item on the agenda is the Baxter Road geotubes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can
Yes.
stay there.
I'm recused.
Commissioner Turcott is recused.
I don't know.
I will give, well, before we start this, I wanted to make it known that this item is only about the current violation and non-compliance for the current geotubes that exist on the beach now. Please do not make any comments related to expansion projects, court litigation, town meeting votes, licenses, nothing like that. It's strictly about the existing project and the lack of compliance.
And the fact that they've been cut up.
Yeah. We have been continuing this process for quite a while. We were supposed to get a complete plan from the representatives SPPF today with updated survey information and kind of a plan moving forwards for how they could get the existing project back into compliance. We did not get that. We got a brief letter from Attorney Nyland that basically says they don't have any information for us. And
Is
they
it gonna
don't
be
know if
forthcoming?
they will have any information for us. But at this point, we have essentially two options.
Well, I'm confused.
Go ahead.
They know that we want this information.
Yes,
They were at the meeting when we asked for this information. They've had over a month to get us the information. They like to give us whatever they're gonna give us the day of the meeting or the day before the meeting. And we've told them and told them and told them to cut that out. And that's what they did again,
yes.
but they did that without giving us the information again,
Mhm.
but they did it that today, and it's like, okay, can we stop playing the game? But we
Yeah.
have to do, they're ripped. And I'm leery about throwing more sand on top of something that's not intact. What am I supposed to do with that?
Right, so we basically at this point have two options. We can reach back out to their representatives and say.
What's the deal?
Thank you for your letter, but we are disappointed at your lack of moving forward in this project and we need the actual information that you have committed to by a specific date.
We need an actual response.
We can do that. The other option is we can start to undertake some of the information gathering and figure out the process for moving towards getting back into compliance independently of them within this commission and within this commission staff. I know that would be a lot of work for us and our
That's
staff,
never
but
worked
it
well.
is possible we have that opportunity. As Miss Molden mentioned in her public comment earlier, a similar process happens, might have been 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
But
Year.
a year and
Yeah.
year and a half, maybe a
18
little
months
bit,
ago,
a
maybe?
little bit more, to allow sand to be delivered to the system without there being a active permit.
And
It
before
happened-
somebody ripped them up.
happened through an enforcement order. Now we have a system that is damaged. Can't just dump sand on the damaged system. I mean, you could. And having them be covered, even if they were damaged, is still probably better than being uncovered. But we could go that route. Again, we still don't know how the damage happened. Everybody has their opinions, but there's no conclusive evidence of anything. So we just have a damaged system that is on the beach. Is not in compliance, it's unmitigated, and it's causing significant amount of environmental concerns. It's well within our interest and our responsibility to do something and to do something very soon. And in Commissioner's comment, I'll be making a different comment about project as a whole that is not necessarily germane to this right now. But we do need to decide how we want to proceed. Do we want to give them another chance to get the stuff we need and write a strongly worded letter to them saying, we really need this? And if you're not gonna get it to us and you have no intention of getting to us, we need you to tell us so that we can move forward. Or do we want to figure something else out?
I would rather go to the June 4th meeting with basically a demand letter along the lines of what you said. We are entitled to this information. You're required to provide this information. Your response this time was wholly unacceptable and fell short of what we're asking for, and give them to June 4th. Otherwise, other measures may have to be undertaken, so they know that there's something coming after that if they don't respond.
Yeah, in their letter, they're saying that they are will endeavor to get us this information not by June 4th, but by the second meeting in June.
Which is what, June
It is,
20,
no, it's
21st.
June 18th.
18th.
all right, I'll be in New Jersey. but I'll be-
Endeavor to doesn't mean anything.
I don't like the word endeavor.
Endeavor to means we might do
Then
it,
whatever.
but not really.
Yeah,
I know June 4th is, personally, I hear what you're saying, Linda, June 4th is unrealistic. They
then
would
go
have-
shall by the 18th.
They would have to have everything like basically today done to
Yeah.
get it to us.
Well, then give it to them, but don't use, you
And forget
require,
endeavor.
you shall.
Yeah, let's write,
Use hard words,
That's
require,
Yeah.
let's write the letter, but it should be June.
we're not endeavoring, and tell them endeavoring is not acceptable either.
Okay,
Yeah, but what the letter really says is present a plan for commission consideration until the second meeting in June.
All right, that's the 18th.
that's what we want from
Okay.
them, but
But it's,
we need it, not
We
what we want,
demanding
it's
it.
what we need it.
We're demanding it.
So this plan, I mean, they have a consultant
Yeah.
on staff working with them.
This is not new
They
stuff.
have, they did the survey work already, I think.
Yeah,
They just have to get us the information. So does anyone else have thoughts on this, or are we gonna send them this letter saying we demand this plan by June 18th?
nothing fluffy in the letter. Go after it.
oh, I'll write it.
All right, John, anything
Looking
to say?
forward to it.
John's not up
I'm sorry,
there.
oh, he left. Mike,
Yeah, I mean, I think the SBPF will endeavor is a little, we kind of.
We're not endeavoring.
We're willing to go to June 18th, but,
That's the end of the road.
yeah, we need it, but we need all the information by then, and that's a reasonable time. to
Well, you
get
can
it.
tell them in the letter that other action may have to be taken should you not reply.
thank you. Will, go ahead.
I just, as staff, and I do my best not to be inflammatory or anything
Oh,
like
please
that,
do.
but I was taken aback a bit by this letter. I found it to be a little disappointing. We weren't just like suggesting that we would have somebody at this
Not
meeting.
endeavoring
We
to
weren't just
suggest.
Suggesting that we wanted the information. So it is clear that I feel like I sound like a dad right now. I am one, but
Yeah.
we need to use much stronger language
Yeah.
going forward and just stay there.
Well, we need to say that this plan shall be submitted for our June 18th meeting.
Yeah.
Failure to submit this plan will lead us no choice but to consider alternatives.
Yeah.
To dealing with this project area. And send it tomorrow morning if you can.
And, put in the letter, please. We don't want it day of, and we don't want it the day before. We want it in a reasonable time before the meeting, so we have
By
time
the
to
sufficient
digest it.
guideline. That-
Wouldn't be
that-
the first time I've
Yeah,
written that sentence.
and they pay no attention to it.
All right, so Will, does that give you the information you need?
Yes.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
we do need
Be
a,
tough.
to make a motion to authorize staff to author and send that letter.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Linda and Mike, by roll call
We
vote.
don't have to roll call. He's not up there.
That's true. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
Oh my
opposed or
God.
abstained? None, that carries unanimously. Okay. So
RJ was recused.
RJ is recused.
Yeah.
Just hoping to go outside tomorrow, but you guys are giving me too much stuff to do.
Sorry about that. So we'll go to 34A.
Oh, you see the violin going here.
Before, I know the representatives here for this as well. Is there a staff update that we should talk about for this?
Roll on in.
I think we're just gonna go right into it.
Okay, please identify yourself for the record with your name and your connection to the project.
Sure, thank you, Paul Santos, with Nantucket Surveyors,
It's
on behalf,
Get this.
Oh, yeah.
on behalf of Foxmore LLC, the property owner.
Come on.
Principal Louis Brestman, who has been before this commission at the first hearing, Bo Wilson, who works for Louis, is also, here tonight too. So this is the third time that we've been, before the commission. We came initially to address, an enforcement order that was issued, by the commission for unpermitted work at 34A Grove Lane. Louis was at that meeting. Second meeting, was more so just a discussion between myself and the commission. And then now the third meeting, we're here to discuss, potential restoration, options, and requests on behalf of, the owner and applicant. By way of history, this property was purchased in 2023. Subsequent to its purchase, there was work done on the structure. After that, there was work done on the site, specifically unauthorized filling on the rear property, and then the placement of a driveway on the property. So what I'd like to do, with the chair's permission, is to walk through each of the violations again, and then specifically acquiesce to removal or discuss each item with regard to a potential leaving in place or mitigation.
Please do so.
Okay. I'd like to, first though, is I've got, as I said, the property was purchased in 2023. So what I did do is take an aerial overlay of the 2023 photo. So if there's any question on what was or what wasn't done subsequent to the 2023, at least it's a clear picture of what this property looked like at the time it was purchased. So I'm happy to hand out those to anybody who may want
Just
to take a look at.
hand it out and make sure it gets submitted to staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, you want that? You want that? You want to say that one? You guys fine? Well, why don't you give that one to, you can, that'll have that one? Okay. Okay, so let's start with the work on the structure. First, you'll notice on the plan that you have or on your computers, the area to the south of the structure, there's an area depicted as a porch infill. It is over,
It's the triangle.
It's a triangle.
no, I'm talking about the porch infill,
Oh.
which is on the, no, to the
Oh,
left.
yeah.
No,
it's-
no,
it's
sunroom.
Yeah.
No, right there. So
Yeah.
there's the porch infill right there. So that was existing structure on the property. That was a porch that was infilled to interior living space. Our intent would be to leave that in place.
So was that deck previously?
It was a porch.
It was considered structural area, it's 30% of structural area, it doesn't change according to our regulations. I don't have any issue with that specifically.
It doesn't change the footprint.
It doesn't change
No.
anything really in the structure before, it's done for now.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to clarify
Okay.
what the wording.
I don't have an issue with that either.
Okay. Next would be on the other side of the structure, you'll see where it says sunroom
Mhm.
infill. This was an enclosed glassed-in sunroom that was just converted to interior space. Again, the intent would be to leave that in place.
Okay,
Same as before, structure before, structure now,
structure now.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. To the right of the sunroom infill, you'll see a yellow area. Yellow areas now depict structure that was added that was not in place previously.
Mhm.
That is a expanded deck and an exterior shower. We would be that would be removed completely. And then what I just did was we showed a shower within
Yep.
the existing deck area, in that one, south side of the existing dwelling.
Okay,
Thank you. That sounds good to me. Commissioners, any
I'm good.
comments, questions with that?
No, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay,
Along the southern portion of the deck, there was I don't know, somewhat, I guess, a weird angle. There was an angled deck.
Right.
You see that triangular piece there? Here, the intent would be to, leave that in place.
commissioners, comments or questions related to that?
I didn't have a problem with it when I was on site.
It doesn't bother me with given all the other restoration work we're
Okay.
channeling here.
And then at the front entryway, you'll see it's called the deck, but essentially it's a landing coming.
Landing.
It's the only access to the front of the dwelling. And then there was a boardwalk placed in that particular area. Those of you who have been to the site know it's fairly wet out in the front.
Yeah.
And we would be asking for that to remain. I was able to get the as-built that was done in 2023. When Lewis purchased the property. And there was a front door there, but there had to be some type of small landing coming out. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't find a plan that depicted that, so I didn't show any structure in that area. So that's all been constructed. I don't know how you got into that house originally from the front door.
You did.
Well, you just, maybe just,
stone. There's a big
Yeah.
chunk of stone there.
oh, okay,
Came from
all right.
Holgate's pit.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, this plan purports to leave that deck and the boardwalk in place.
I don't have an issue with that. I said that at the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it was perfectly reasonable. It was pretty wet when we were there,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of other boardwalks that get permitted for places to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Or could be, in my opinion.
So that encompasses all of the,
Structural.
oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, it's fine.
No, I don't want to jump right.
Yeah, I think, I know we're talking about each element individually, but the point of this deck and boardwalk is to have access from the newly constructed driveway, and I know there's a reduced size on that driveway, but I think we have to kind of hold this over to see if we're gonna allow that driveway to be there at all.
Okay.
And if it's not, then there's no point at the boardwalk. I mean, and maybe like there needs to be some deck or some path or something, but if the access is gonna be from the other side of the property, then it doesn't make sense to have it there. So let's hold
Okay,
it.
so we'll hold that for the
hold over
driveway.
for now.
Perfect.
Okay, so talk about the driveway.
Okay, just to get back on that first portion though, to get legal access to the structure per the building code, you would only have to have you'd have to have a 3x3 landing.
Yeah.
That's the minimum that you would
So you have
need
to have two ways out of that.
to get,
Yeah.
to be that.
The
All right.
deck part is less of a concern for me, but we don't need a boardwalk to know where the driveway
Okay.
not gonna be there.
All right, so now let's just move to the driveway then. So the driveway, if you look at your aerial photo, that was basically a lawn. None of this out here was manicured lawn. It was just kind of,
Scrub.
it was a lawn. But the photos over the years, basically you saw a lot of, there was boat storage kind of in that area. It varied from photo to photo. I don't know if it was ever used for parking at all, but I didn't see any photos that showed cars there. There were photos that showed boats. So this driveway was put in obviously after 2023. It's a stone driveway, edged with a granite or cobble type edging completely around it. So what we've proposed here is a reduction in size of approximately 385 square feet, the removal of all the stone edging, and just leave it as a stone driveway at the same essentially grade that it is. It didn't appear that there was any filling that took place here. It looked like the topsoil, the lawn area was stripped and the driveway was put in. It was done not in a wetland, but it was done within your regulated areas on the site. Essentially, it was done within the 25-foot no disturb But it had already previously been no disturbed as it was already a vegetated lawn. So that is what is currently before you for discussion.
Before we get to the backyard.
Yep, backyards, I think, pretty easy, so.
People's thoughts on the driveway?
Are you, can you have two driveways?
He doesn't have two
curb-
driveways, he's coming off an easement, doesn't
Yeah.
count.
This is only, there would only
It
be one
doesn't count.
driveway on the property.
All right, where was the driveway?
On
The driveway is on the Susie Locke's property. If you look to the left, you'll see an easement. It's a gravel drive that comes in to the side. At one point, I believe that was a garage on that side of the house, and there's a concrete pad which went
Yeah.
into that drive, that garage. That garage previously had been converted into interior living space.
Yeah. It went into the side of the house.
And then this property was all, I believe, the Holgate property at one time, and I believe that when it was subdivided, this was subdivided. And then they retained the easement for access to this structure. And then the back property was, I think the structures were always there. It was just the lot line came afterwards.
And what's the purpose of the concrete pad? Does it have a purpose or it just was there and?
I think it was just there. It was probably just the way they built
Yeah.
it when they built the house.
They took the garage out when they subdivided it. The family subdivided after he died.
So I just have one, I guess, sort of compromise, I guess, type proposal is like Susie still needs access to her driveway. If the concrete pad went away and we did the driveway reduction, that's feasible to me.
It's feasible, except we can't compel the abutter to get rid of the concrete pad on their part of the property.
She'd be very happy.
Hopefully they voluntarily would, but we are only able to do it on this property that's before us. I mean, I think it would be great to get that concrete pad removed and restored with native vegetation to have some additional mitigation for this property.
Is somebody at the table representing?
So I'm Natalie Kaufman. I represent Susan Locke. I have to speak with her first. I don't think she'd have a problem with it being removed. I think
Very
it's more the cost
Yeah.
of having it removed, but I don't think she'd have any problem. with it
Yeah, speak
being
with your
done.
client, and then
She
if
wanted to call
it
him.
was removed by the owner of this property with no cost to your client, you can see if that's something that would be acceptable.
And then replanted. She
And
was
then
overjoyed.
replanted, yeah.
That works for me.
Okay. So other thoughts on the driveway?
No, they're just gonna have to put a metal edger to keep the,
No, I don't think
Stuff
we
in.
should have any edging. Or is
well, it's
there
gonna
edging
migrate,
proposed?
it'll migrate.
There was granite edging there, and now you're proposing, or stone, whatever it is,
Yeah.
stone edging, they're going to take that out. So is there a proposal for a different type of edging?
Well, the edging that we use when we don't do this stuff. It's only about that deep and it goes right in the ground, it's in the ground, so the stones and the shells
Yeah.
don't migrate.
You wouldn't
Because
see-
otherwise it's gonna be all over the place.
Yeah, I have it at my house, I know what it
Yeah.
is, but,
That's the only thing I can think of.
so is that the plan though?
I didn't I thought first discuss the driveway, and then if the
Alright.
driveway's on the table, we're happy
That
to
is the-
discuss what
I-
eventually.
I don't know if it is unless you can match the square footage. So
So
I'm gonna say something.
What's the-
You mean match the square footage of the concrete pad?
Yeah, like I'm willing to have the driveway be flipped, but not have an increase in impervious surface inside the 25.
I can tell you for sure that they can't match the
They can't.
square footage.
You
They
also-
could-
you also don't wanna back out onto that road, that's why
They
they have a
could-
turnaround.
They could reduce it.
It is a permeable surface. I know you're-
It's permeable,
Yeah,
it's not gonna be stone
No,
anymore.
it's gravel. So
It's
permeable.
gravel,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, it's a gravel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I thought it was stone.
Yeah.
oh, no, it's gravel.
Tiny piece.
It's permeable, so the water just comes right through.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that
Yeah.
case, then if the abutter is okay with it and it's a swap,
And
okay.
It's actually an improvement because concrete's not.
Yeah,
permeable. Yeah.
okay, that's.
She'd be very happy to have it replanted there.
Yeah.
Um,
You gotta worry about is the wetlands happy.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's the.
they'd be happier than concrete.
Hmm.
So then we got the stuff in the back.
Okay, so now the back was, if you look, Will, if you can kind of pan up there, let me kind of keep going. Okay, so the back area, again, was unmanicured lawn. But it basically met the criteria for a wetland.
Yeah.
So I permitted or have done work for Susie Locke over the years, and you'll see the flags 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah.
Those are all, David Haynes had done that. We had permitted an addition for Susie that never got built. We permitted a potential house or shed move that
Her
never got
studio
done.
over there.
And everything to the right of that, we know was wet from the wetland, from the flags over to where the brush line was. So after the improvements to the home were done, so Lewis's landscaper or contractors that were working for Lewis did a couple of things back here. They constructed a stone trench that you'll see on the plan, actually on Susie's property, on the Locke property. You'll see the trench it's a stone trench that they put in. I believe the intent was to absorb water. Unfortunately, the trench is in water, so it doesn't really do much. And then they created a berm along that area, which unfortunately is currently burning water on the Locke property.
Yep.
They then proceeded to put fill in what you see as the hatched area.
Raise the.
And when you look at part of the 2003 photo that you'll see is the brush line, and nothing was changed in this area other than the fill was placed on top of what was the unmanicured lawn. So what we're proposing here is to remove the trench and the berm and the fill and restore this area to the original site grade and vegetation. Now, we've kind of talked amongst Chloe, myself, kind of have spoken of this. I've spoken to Will about it also. This again was the unmanicured lawn. We had talked about replacing it with a New England wet mix. My concern was that if we did something that wasn't there previously, that whether it was a wet mix or not, as that grew, whether that in fact would still maybe then dam water on Susie's property, which is not what we want to do. So I thought was if we just go back to an unmanicured lawn area, at least the flow that was previously happening continued to happen.
The water can freely move.
Chloe was under the impression sometimes that maybe the wet mix would absorb more of the water and it would help the situation. So we were kind of back and forth. What we just don't want to do is do something that mitigated the fill, but created a problem for Susie. We want Susie we want the drainage pattern that was there before to continue to happen as it is after this is mitigated. So that's why I just said remove trench, berm, fill, and then restore the area to the original site grade and just let it vegetate in a natural, whatever lawn. I'm assuming once you remove that fill, it's gonna go back to that basically ragrat lawn, whatever was there previously. So that's open, I guess, for discussion on what, Mike, you may think, Seth, you may think on how that would the best to handle that back area. It was used as lawn, going back, it was lawn for a number of years when the
Yeah.
whole gates were there. So.
Go ahead, Will.
I just had a question. Do you know by any chance what is in the New England wet mix?
Plants.
Thanks, Linda.
Does it make it?
Not ground plants, plants.
It's a list of different grasses and sedges. It usually has like carrots and little blue stem and Harvard grass and other stuff in there. I mean,
That's it right there.
Is that,
I mean,
doesn't stay low.
I might be,
It doesn't stay low, it
Doesn't
grows.
stay low,
as a-
that's the
It
problem.
doesn't stay low, and that was my concern.
but it drinks water.
But it drinks water.
Or
Yeah,
if it
so
could
I-
force water back
I-
on her.
I think
If it
the
doesn't
most
freely
important
move.
part is you gotta, gotta get the pitch moving in the right direction and then whatever approved grass mix, I think is.
I think
is
the wet
ultimately-
mix might be beneficial.
Yeah,
but-
my opinion is, putting in some type of metal mix or, grass mix that is meant for wetland areas is gonna significantly improve the hydrology of the area, given the ability of the root system of those plants to do what they actually do and, contain water, so.
Even if her lot doesn't have them?
Yeah, but they're
Yeah,
gonna
it's not
grade it to the
gonna-
right way, it's not gonna push it around.
It's just moved freely between the two lots for
But it's,
decades.
what it's gonna do is gonna infiltrate and store in these.
Yeah, I mean, the grass isn't.
It's
gonna-
pretty.
The grass mix isn't gonna stop the water from flowing. As long as the grade is right, it's gonna just pass right by it and probably even take it up more.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things I would say don't, maybe don't put this specific mix. because
don't,
You
Yeah.
have things in here like, swamp milkweed that's gonna
No,
get big, and you have things in here. Like
And then it
Joe, it's gonna
spreads.
get big, but some of these sedges that are just like wetland sedges, basically, you can maybe get, somebody to put together a custom seed mix for you,
So,
wetland grasses, I would say.
So there's a company it's called Ernst Conservation Seeds, and that's what they do. If you tell them what your requirements are, they'll put together and they just mix the blue stem with, and usually there's a carrier to get it to germinate.
But I do think we should do that rather than just letting whatever random stuff is in the seed bank, come in, because there was
Mhm.
extensive disturbance. There's probably not a lot in the seed bank left. You're gonna get a ton of invasive and
yeah, they're gonna create.
non-native and
Yeah.
ruderal species. It's just gonna be a disaster. It needs to be planted with an appropriate seed mix.
Okay.
Just so I understand, is it new, so is New England wet mix or grass? Or is grass?
No, we're doing something different.
I don't think it would be the
No,
wet
yeah.
mix that's
Maybe
on
that,
that list, but it
Maybe
would be
some
some type
customized.
of, some type of
Yeah.
grass seed mix.
In the photo you see it was grass before?
It was crap before.
Yeah, but something else, but we changed it to something else, so.
No, it would be grasses. It would just be native
Creative
grasses.
Yeah.
You can go, like, honestly, you can go to Ernst, or you can go to Wilkinson and say, hey, we want this.
This is what.
This
we-
type of profile, give us a custom seed mix that will do that, and they do
Yeah.
this all the time.
Okay.
If I could comment, Mr. Chair, I think, one thing, and I'm not sure if this is something that you could put in, is we would like it staked, the boundary line, because it was sort of said passively, but my client came home one day and they're digging a trench on her property. And it did not help, and, we appreciate a return to grade. I'm wondering if there's any way to kind of confirm that. I think there was also some belief that it was sloped perhaps on the other side as well. But a confirmation about grade, and then we were also interested in native plants, because there's the piece of not continuing the flooding that's happened, but obviously this has been months and months of much more an unnatural water pattern, so I'm certainly not a scientist, but thinking that something like some of the indigenous plantings could help with some of that water.
That's what they're talking about. planting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna completely fix the problem. You basically
They're always gonna
have a
water
wet
there.
meadow, and it's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
continue to function as a wet meadow, but it will definitely, the root system of these plants are definitely going to infiltrate and store significantly more water than some random degraded old grass seed, for sure.
And Paul, you work for both of these guys, and you can stake that line to make
Oh,
sure.
no, I
it's easier.
actually, Lewis had
Stay
asked
here,
me if
yeah.
we could put a fence on the line. I kind of just didn't,
No.
I mean, if a post and rail, but I don't, it's in a wetland. So,
Just respond to what.
You know what I mean?
Natalie, right?
Yeah.
What you said about your client. I think there's been a lot of confusion regarding this project and why we're kind of here today, and, you know. We all know the kind of the backstory about there was a lot of miscommunications, confusion, but part of what you're addressing. Is that my landscaper who was doing this work. At one point, I think he called me and said that your client was okay with the berm. If he did a trench on her side of the property and if I paid for it.
She never said that.
I think that's.
I understand, but I understand this is part of this is part of this miscommunication that
yeah,
occurred.
That's outside of.
But now we're here, we're here, now we gotta solve it.
Exactly, yeah,
I
but
guess the question would be,
Yeah.
I think Susie, would a split rail fence,
Split rail fence is not considered a structure under our regulations.
is there
but in
some
this
way?
case, it's in the
It's
wet.
in the, it is in the wetlands.
So-
We can have permanent markers that are non-structural.
Yeah,
We've asked for that before.
We do it with restoration
Yeah.
areas.
You can put
quite
like
often.
small stakes that say, you know,
Is your wetland?
permanent wetland restoration, property line here, there's options we can
we can
do.
put some stuff out.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
doesn't want any fence. She does want it to be an open area, and I know you've already addressed
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
having things too high,
Yeah.
but just to know.
Well, that was part of.
Yeah,
the-
I can mark
Yeah.
both, I can mark both.
Let's just, we'll talk one at a time, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have something to say?
I was just saying that was kind of what prompted this work to be done. We're trying to delineate the lot line, because as you see, it's such an unusual lot shape. So if there is some way to do that, that'd be great.
There are.
We can
ways,
mark it.
yeah. It could be permanently marked with
Yep.
something that would be considered non-structural.
Great.
And I mean, yes, it's in a wetland, but there's no impact for that, so.
Now, in order to remove the trench, you're gonna have to go on Susie's property to get it off there. Just as long as you guys all agree to
I can
this
speak to
thing.
that.
Go
We
ahead.
can reach over and pull it back
Can you
into.
just introduce yourself for the
I'm sorry,
record?
Bo Wilson, all good.
Okay, go ahead.
We can reach over from Lewis's property onto and pull it back onto
Okay.
Lewis's property
Okay, Get
without
rid of it.
detriment.
I mean, and in general, she definitely wants the berm gone, and if it's easier to be, standing on her property to do that, she's
Get the
amenable to
stuff
that.
off and fill the trench back in.
Okay. So, we do need an actual
Atlas.
planting
Okay.
list to come before us, then. But I mean, I don't see any issue with the rest of the restoration, getting the fill removed, getting the grade restored, getting the berm out, getting the ditch trench fixed, and then
All the
Let's-
rest of it.
all that's fine to me.
Do we continue this until we get the list?
We will,
Yeah, I need to know
Have
the
to
driveway
continue.
removal
Yeah.
and stuff too.
Yeah.
we need to do some other
Okay.
things, yeah.
And we didn't talk about it, but it's on, it's been replace arrow, replace the privet hedge with.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And
Replace every private hedge. In the world.
Um. Just personally, and I know probably people don't care too much, but the. Triangle deck that was added, I understand architecturally why it was added. It looks nice to match the weird bump out, but. I would like to see that removed. It's not something we would ever permanent application. And if you're already in there removing the other deck. I think that part should be removed too.
I wasn't really concerned about that triangle,
I'm in agreement, Mike. I'd like to see it removed. The compromise would be the driveway. But the deck, the structure, I mean, it feels like we're dealing with this more and more all the time. It's gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if there's no removal happening, but you're already in there removing the other part. Let's take that triangle out too.
but I'll go with the majority.
It looks nice, don't get me wrong, I mean, if this was my house, I would want that to be there too, but it does not meet our regulations and does not serve our interests.
Okay.
What if we get rid of the shower instead?
The shower doesn't really matter.
No,
because
it's on the
being
deck.
Put
It's on
on
the
a
So then
structural area, so.
So I don't care about the
Yeah.
shower. Okay, I think we got a plan.
Okay, do you have additional questions for us?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so. We're gonna continue this to the next meeting. Do you think we'd have everything we need for them?
Sure.
Okay.
Although they'd come so fast.
Busy.
I walk out thinking I got plenty of time, and then it's next Friday deadline.
It seemed like it's like next week.
Also, we're okay with this, just so I understand, so we're okay with this kind of plan, except, we'll keep the. I think what we're talking about is keeping the driveway, but removing the concrete pad is exchanged with a way to get in the
Correct.
house.
It seems like everybody is okay with the driveway, with the changes to it being gravel only.
The boardwalk and the deck.
Pervious structure,
You gotta get to that.
everyone's fine.
Do it, yeah.
I think everyone's fine with the boardwalk and the deck because it's needed for access. People want the L-shaped deck to be removed, the triangle-shaped deck to be removed. And then for the rest of the privet hedge to be changed out to viburnum. And then for the whole back area, for the fill to be taken out, the grade to be restored, the bench to be fixed, the berm to be taken out, and then it to be replanted with an appropriate native grass mix that will be submitted to this commission. That's what the intent of this commission is.
It has been the most part, the border of the driveway itself is okay, but the border has to be changed to something else, right? Remove those granite.
We're removing the granite block.
Yeah,
Okay.
remove the granite blocks. I hear what Linda's saying about
Yeah,
the steel
It'll be a
edging.
steel edging,
Yeah.
you won't.
So you want steel
It'll be
edging
had- yeah.
instead.
It will be like
Yeah.
basically at grade.
You gotta
That's it.
contain it. It's
Yeah.
embedded in the ground, but it
Yeah.
contains it where it's supposed to be instead of migrating everywhere.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Alright. So we will continue this discussion on June 4th. Thank you all.
Thank you
for
very much.
being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Alright,
Okay.
that brings us to commissioners' comments. Any commissioners?
Another great meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
And
you.
you guys don't miss, I think there's 3 of you guys up. Don't miss your dog and pony show at the select
yeah.
board meeting.
I'll be doing it on Zoom.
Okay.
I'll be at JFK Airport, but.
Do we know what-
Yeah.
Do we know what the date is?
27th is the next select board meeting or?
Is that where the interviews are next week?
Yeah, were we allowed to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An appointment.
I think it's just you two. Oh, no,
No,
Tim,
Tim and I.
Tim.
And then there is a third applicant.
And Joe, there are 3 of you up.
No, that's not enough.
It's RJ, Tim, and those are the incumbents, and there is a new
New
applicant.
applicant, yeah.
Who's the new applicant?
I have no idea
And
yet.
you get Ben.
His information's in the select
Yeah.
board packet. You can look at it.
I'm surprised. Usually there's nobody.
Yeah, there is. Okay, RJ, go ahead.
Just my comment sort of follows along with the last comment I made, but it feels like we're doing this a lot. I don't know if that's just me, but it feels like the enforcement has been busy.
'Tis the season.
Is it the season? Because like, it just feels like it's like a good chunk of the meeting now. I'm just gonna leave my comment at that. I don't know what to make of
I
it.
think
but-
it used to feel like the same amount as the NOIs, or because of the procedure change.
Now it feels
It
like.
feels long because the rest, it feels short, but we do have 3 kind of active enforcement, so it's taken a while.
But they're
We also-
complicated. That's the problem.
complicated.
They're getting more complicated.
We
as
also
they
They
go
don't,
along.
they don't go.
New
as
enforcements.
fast either. Like, look how long we're on the, well, we one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
just need that.
Any other commissioners' comments?
No, it's been a couple of months.
I,
Brother.
I apologize to take more of your time, but unfortunately I have 4.
Send us 4 comments.
Oh, you have 4 comments.
Sorry.
You've prepared us for it.
Even drove Will out of the room.
The first comment is I want to extend my sincere thanks to Mike Miserelli for serving as a great chair pro tem. I
Excellent.
watched the meeting and you did a good job, so.
Little assistant.
Thank you so much. And Linda, always again, thank you for your
Hearing myself talk.
service as vice chair, but I appreciate you stepping up when I wasn't here.
Thank you.
My next comment is there's something called a conservation district. Actually, there's many of them all throughout the state.
Mhm.
Long time ago, we had a Nantucket Conservation District. If memory serves me right, Mike was the administrator of the conservation district.
Huh.
Right now, there is an effort to revitalize the inactive conservation districts, of which Nantucket is one of them. I have been working on I'll tell you in a second. I've been
Okay.
working on the effort to revitalize the conservation district.
Is this a state effort?
It's a state effort and also, so the conservation district is a state program that's run by the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Districts, which is a profit entity and also receives federal funding from the Natural Resources Conservation Service, which is a federal government entity. But it is, the conservation district would be a state entity. The MACD, Massachusetts Association of Conservation Districts, really wants to reactivate all the inactive conservation districts. What a conservation district is about, basically it serves your county for the protection of soil resources, water resources, and conservation districts, and conservation resources, wildlife, etc. And what conservation districts do is they get grant money and they direct that grant money to partners in the community who are using them for projects. So if we did reestablish our district, we would basically be able to get free grant money with very limited work for Nantucket that could be either used by the district itself or directed to nonprofit partners or town partners or whatever. If we wanted to do an oyster reef restoration, the conservation district could get grant money and direct it to an entity to do oyster reef restoration. If we wanted to do
Is it part of the town?
it's,
Or is it separate?
I'll talk about that in a second. If we wanted to do a biochar project, we could get money from the conservation district and put it to somebody who wanted to
Oh.
do it. It would be a board that is not elected by the town. It would be a board that is a state board. And the ruling body of the board would be the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And commissioners, or they're not called commissioners, they're called district representatives, I think, would be elected by the secretary of the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs.
So we'd all be appointed by the state, not by the town.
Elected
Elected
by the state.
But do we have a
However-
regular election here like the housing authority does?
Yeah, so let me get to this in
Yeah,
a
let it
second.
rip.
However,
Because we're at the state.
in order
Not here.
for the district to be reactivated, the elections don't have to happen in year one. In year one, people can be appointed for the basically initial year to get the conservation district back
By
up and
who?
running. I'll talk about that in a second.
Listen.
Just listen, and then
Jumping ahead.
eventually they would have to be elected, but essentially. We need a minimum of 5 members to constitute this district. They would be anybody who volunteers in this community. And then they would be appointed by the secretary of the EEA,
Not the
for-
select board.
not the select board, the state.
That's
So
interesting.
be appointed by the state for a 1-year appointed term. And then
Yeah.
after that 1-year basically probationary term, the district representatives would then be elected, but they don't need to be elected in year 1. They just get appointed.
But they'd be elected on the local ballot like the housing authority is,
Yes,
but we're
yeah.
not under town either.
Yes,
But we're on the
It's
local
very-
election.
very similar protocol, but that's not really the part that matters right now. The part that matters is there needs to be 5 people from this community minimum who would be willing to be appointed to do this 1-year probationary term to get this conservation district back up and running.
Well, that's
And
cool.
in discussions with the state and with MACD, there were some discussions about how, since this district primarily supports the agricultural resources and conservation resources, that it would make sense to have a representative both from the Agricultural Commission and from the Conservation Commission. Just like we have other committee representatives to town boards, we would have a committee representative to this state entity.
As
So-
well as our local group.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm here today to ask you if, first of all, you support this idea at all of getting the conservation district reestablished. If you support the idea of there being a representative from the Conservation Commission who is always being submitted for election to this district. And if anybody personally wants to do it.
I nominate you.
Or Mike, you already did it.
Yeah, I already did
Mike
it.
already did it.
And then also, I should say, I spoke with Posey Constable, who is from Sustainable Nantucket, but also is the chair of the Agricultural Commission. At the Agricultural Commission, they are having the same exact discussion, and they hope to have a representative from the Agricultural Commission to the Conservation District. And then we would need to find at least 3 other people in the community. It seems like.
I've
seems
raised
like
my hand
Will-
3 times. I would love to do
Seems like
this.
Will wants to do it.
Oh,
So it seems like we would need to find at least 2 other people. So in the first year, we have to have a minimum of 5 people to get the district established. And then the size could be bigger in the future, but seems like we would need at least 5.
I think it's a great idea. I wouldn't
I
mind
have-
doing it. Mike
I-
should do it.
All right,
I have a comment.
go ahead.
When I was on the conservation district in the past, natural resources department actually played a big role in what they were doing, so.
Yeah. I would be like
You'd be all over.
$1,000,000% into
Why
it.
did it die out though?
Reasons.
Good
probably.
question. I mean, I got off, I was off of it at that point, but I just don't think there was just interested, you know, because it was like myself. It was Ray Owen, it was Richard Valero, I mean.
It just,
Yeah, I got
one
it.
of these things that kind of fell to the wayside, and then after a certain amount of time, if you don't meet, it just became inactive. And
Well,
then
then it already exists.
it exists, we don't need to do
We
anything.
just have to
All
populate.
we need to do is just repopulate the board.
Okay,
MACD also, like, the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Districts, they are willing to like help us do the logistics of getting everything back in place. We won't need to submit anything, we don't need to do anything, we just need to
Yeah.
give them a list of 5 names. And they will get it back up and running.
I think
for
this
us.
is spectacular.
it.
idea. You're going, you're the one going to the state.
Is there requirements? I can't remember. I think we only met like once a month when we.
The requirement says that there needs to be minimum quarterly meetings, but they are saying pretty much every district meets monthly.
Is there a conflict of interest if 3 of us from the Concom are on there?
Yeah, so originally there was a discussion of like, oh, like we already have agricultural commission, we already have a conservation commission, let's just take 3 people from each and make a board.
Yeah,
And then I was saying that maybe that's not a good idea. So I would want us to have just 1 representative on this commission. The agricultural commission would have 1 representative on this district
and then
and
what?
then 3 at-large seats. Sounds like
That
Will
would-
wants to do it, and
That'd be
then
you.
we'd find 2 other people in the community.
I have somebody, my in-law, who's a
Okay.
farmer.
All right. So we would need to find like 1 more person beyond that and go.
There's
from there.
actually like a lot of people that would be interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All we need to do is, so I'm meeting with Posey again next week, I think,
Very cool.
to give her an update. And then we'll talk to the people working for MACD and tell them where we're at. And then if we have 5 names, we'll just tell them the 5 names and it will get reactivated.
I think that's great.
I mean, Tim might be interested in it too, I mean.
He's not here enough. That's he's the first person to tell you that. He said that yesterday.
Anyways.
get out of it? Yeah.
But
So-
I have a couple people that are involved with farming and all this type of thing.
Okay, all right,
Like 8.
so yeah,
Danny Barrett.
send the names my way, but I guess my request too is, are we okay with making a permanent committee representative where somebody from the Concom is always being
Absolutely.
appointed?
Yeah, I mean, for our
Nodding my
size of
head,
our
but-
group, I think that's fine. Somebody's gonna do it.
All
Yeah.
right, sweet, so once again,
And I just have one other, we could even, if we have to do some official wording, just like, you had brought up on the NPDC side. You know, if nobody wants to do it,
mhm,
we could appoint somebody just to give flexibility.
Oh, yeah.
that's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
No worries,
That would probably be a good idea.
all right,
Fill this.
so I'll bring that information back to the organizing committee. And then we'll hopefully get 5 names, just so you know. They really want us to try to get this reactivated at a very specific time. Which is basically the end of June.
Oh.
And it's for reasons that RJ could probably tell you. But it's the fiscal year turnover.
Yeah,
and,
July 1.
sometimes there's money to just dump into new projects, so. They say if we do this at a very specific time, the Nantucket district might have just money dumped into it because
That'd be good.
somebody needs something to do with it, so,
Well, go forward.
okay.
And July 1 is a beautiful thing. That's how we
Big
get
day.
nice office chairs.
It's not July 4th,
Okay.
it's July 1.
1.
Kid of the day, okay, kid of the day.
Be really good for some invasive.
That's
projects.
Tuesday, July
Yeah.
1.
Sir.
Okay, anyway, so basically they want us to give them the list of names like mid-June, and then they
Yeah.
wanna like. Send it in the last week of June, so.
Okay.
Alright, so that's good on that comment. The other comment is related to. Getting a follow-up on the definitions that we brought to the regulatory update meeting.
Yes.
So I know there was a little bit of discussion at the meeting about those definitions, and we changed the wording, and then Will, you said you would send them out to council. Has that been done?
I need to meet with you two.
Yeah, I haven't done the stream thing yet.
That's fine.
That's on me.
It's, I would say it's okay. It's been on my end a very busy couple of weeks. in the office, so I'm not too upset that I didn't get it anyway. But if we can, either the three of us, or I can meet both of you guys one-on-one, just to like quickly go through our individual things, and then I'm gonna rewrite the FERT situation, which maybe I'll try to do that before we sit down, Seth, so we can look through it real quick or something, but regardless, anything that's drafted isn't gonna be binding final language. We're gonna have legal review and yada yada, but in short, have not sent them off.
Alright, well, we can meet and then.
I think we got that.
Yeah, well,
Alright, and then my final comment is related to Baxter Road, SPPF and the geotube situation, so just giving a little bit of update beyond what we talked about in the enforcement area. For those of you who don't know, on Friday, April 24th, there was a hearing of this Nantucket Superior Court related to the litigation about the geotube expansion project permit.
Is that the ones that are suing us?
Yes,
Okay.
I attended the hearing. It was sparsely attended. It was the Friday of Daffodil Weekend, but I attended the hearing. And the judge is taking it under advisement, and is supposed to have some type of decision within 90 days.
Is town council there?
Interestingly, George was not there. Town council was there. We were represented by Devin Braun.
oh, yeah.
But George was not there.
That's interesting, because George handles most of the litigation
Yeah.
like this.
But town council's office was there. So that happens, and we hopefully within 90 days past that hearing date, have some information about that. And then, as you all know, at Nantucket Town Meeting, there is a vote to see if the town would authorize the select board to issue a license to SPPF for their geotube project, which failed.
That bylaw has to go away.
So,
There's a way around it. They just transfer the property to the county and the county doesn't have to ask town meeting anything. There you go.
so,
That took 15 years to do.
so
No. very
we're
good.
in an interesting scenario now where the expansion project cannot proceed no matter what happens in court. And also, you might remember that multiple NOIs came before us. There was also a notice of intent for some Kawar terraces.
Yeah,
That project also cannot proceed because it is dependent on the same use of the same beach for coastal protection, so. We're in a very odd scenario right
Yeah.
now, where there is. I mean, obviously, town meetings happen all the time, once or twice a year. The SPPF and the town can go back to town meeting again to try to get another vote to
they're
get
gonna
a
go,
license.
they're going back to try to get rid of that particular bylaw.
But right now, like, we have no possible path towards this project being built as things exist today. We have a existing structure that is severely degraded, that has been out of compliance for 10 years now.
Are you talking about the choir rolls?
No, I'm talking about the geotubes.
Well, the choir rolls in the same.
Yeah, well, actually, there was some maintenance on those that were allowed to happen, but the geotubes, basically in a scenario is just like damaged, cannot be permitted for expansion, or not permitted, it was permitted, but cannot be expanded.
They can be upgraded, they can be fixed and upgraded. Because they predate that bylaw.
Yeah, if we get the information we need, but we basically have a very, very bad situation on our hands where as act, or as every event happens that keeps going on, it gets less and less likely that this expansion project is going to happen. I'm not gonna say it will never happen. I mean, again, votes change.
Bylaws. get
Bylaws change,
moved.
things change, but we are in a very tough place where at some point, I mean, we should wait for the court order to see what they say. But at some point, we're gonna have to go back to the plan that was before, which is enforcing the removal order. And I mean, we went through this whole process so that we didn't have to do that, but
Yeah,
if we don't, if we're left with no other alternatives, I mean, that's where we're at. And so, I mean, I'm not gonna say,
26 votes.
I'm not gonna
So
say we
we're-
do that today, and I'm not gonna say that we do that before we have more information, but at some point, if things just keep going in this direction, we will have no alternative as a commission other than to do that. So
That's what their point
just
is.
wanna make it I wanna put it out there. I wanna make it known that as this goes on and if decisions keep going against this project, we're gonna have no option other than to doing that removal.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that for now.
Which most of that's out of our control, like the part of those decisions are not our decisions to make.
Yeah, it might be out of our control, it might not be our decision to make, but we have a regulatory responsibility to
Yes.
protect the resource areas, and if it seems impossible or extremely unlikely or infeasible for these projects to proceed, we have no alternative but to do the options that we are allowed to do. So it's a kind of a bad situation. I
It's a
mean,
depressing thought.
it is depressing. And I mean, again, if you look at the history, it's well known. I'll make it obvious in this meeting. I was the person who put the motion in to have the removal order in the first place
Mhm.
because of the actions at the time. And then as the process went on, it seemed like there was a opportunity for maybe something else to happen, and it just seems like how things have gone in the town now that it really, that opportunity really might not be there. And if it's not there, I'm not saying 100% it's not there, because we have to wait and we have to see. But if it's not there, it would be a dereliction of duty for us to just allow damaged coastal engineering structures to sit on a beach. If it becomes evident that that's the only thing that's possible, we must act. So we'll watch it throughout the summer and fall and see what happens, and at some point, we might be stuck with that as our only option.
Well, on that happy note, after all the time we spent on this,
Yeah, staff reports.
you better not have any.
I don't.
Good.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Mike, by, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed?
Isn't it so nice to just raise your hand?
It is nice. This meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all and have a good rest of your night.
Guys, everybody wait just a moment for me.
Happy Memorial Day, by the way.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Oh, I guess I must have closed the YouTube.